Yeah, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about how to build your income. In terms of building your income, I think there's 3 distinct steps to that as well. The first step is being deliberate with your career choice or job choice or sector where you're working. So what dictates what you actually get paid in society or what people are willing to pay you? Well, like most things in the economy, it's really just supply and demand, right? As the supply for a particular skill increases, the price of it will decrease. And as the demand for your particular skill increases, the price for your skill will increase. So you want to try and pick a sector where your skills are going to be both in high demand and where supply is fairly limited. So what are some practical examples of that? Well, here are some counter examples of jobs that don't provide good income. And you'll see why, based on supply and demand, these jobs don't make a lot of money. So if you work at McDonald's or you're a waiter or a waitress, even though you're providing a valuable service to society, there's a ton of supply, right? You don't really need too much experience to be able to go and be a waiter at a restaurant or work at a coffee shop or be a cashier. So these jobs are generally not very high paying, and they don't really offer a lot of career benefits or retention benefits like a 401k or retirement plan, because to be honest, if you're in this service sector job, you're more or less replaceable. There are thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that have the skill set that would be able to perform your job if needed to, right? If you look at waiters and waitresses, there is a sector of them that actually make good money, right? And these people are probably waiters and waitresses that work at higher end restaurants. Why is that? Well, to work at a higher end restaurant, you probably need more of a resume. You needed to have worked at reputable restaurants before, and you need to know etiquette, know a little bit about wine, know how to make the customer feel comfortable and have them want to order more at your restaurant. And so those waiters and waitresses are going to earn more, compared to someone working at McDonald's. The flip side to this would be in the professional sectors, right? So in white collar jobs like finance, computer science, management consulting, airline pilot, these types of jobs require extensive training, extensive experience, and also, they require some physical ability as well in their candidates. So these candidates need to be able to make logical conclusions, do deep analysis, have mastery over computers and technology that help them aid in their calculations and work on a day-to-day basis. So this job has high demand. So there's plenty of demand for software engineers and management consulting and finance, right? There's plenty of big companies that need outside people to come in and help them make decisions and also help them raise funding. So there's plenty of demand, and the supply for these candidates is relatively low, right? The amount of college graduates every year that can perform these roles is very limited, and so companies have to pay a lot to try and attract candidates. So just by being a software engineer in Silicon Valley, you've already dramatically increased your potential for earning income just because you were deliberate about the career path you chose. Of course, you have to pick the career that suits you best, but if you can be deliberate, clear about what your goal is, what your income targets are, and then from there have that select the career path you want to go into, then your chances of success in landing one of these jobs is much higher. It's funny because as an Asian American, as an Asian, one of the stereotypes is that our families are very overbearing, very serious about our future careers, right? If you're a Chinese viewer, then you know that most Asian parents want you to be a doctor, want you to be an engineer, or want you to be a lawyer. And honestly, it's funny because quite true, but it's also honestly good advice, right? I think sometimes when our parents give us a lot of advice, especially if they're kind of annoying about it, they say it all the time or they really push us, we have a tendency to want to rebel against that. But actually, in this case, it's really good advice. The issue that I see with a lot of people, just entering the workforce is they weren't deliberate enough about thinking what career path they wanted to work in. If you can be a little bit deliberate and think about and plan what you want to do after college, you can set up high school, college, the classes that you're taking in college, and your internships along the way to set you up for success later on. And that's super important. I think it's really a tragedy how many people go to high school, go to college, have no idea what they want to do, and you pick a random major, and that gives them much fewer options for earning a high income when they actually graduate. Let's just talk about software engineering because that's what I have experience with. If you get an entry-level software engineering job, you can make anywhere from, let's say, 70,000 to 150, 180,000. So that's really good actually, but that's not necessarily life-changing money, right? How do some people build their incomes beyond 3, 4, 500, 700, 800, even $1 million of income in these careers? The way you do that is you work up in your own field. In this supply and demand curve, right, you've already picked an industry where there's a high demand for your skill and there's a limited supply of the population that can perform. Now, within your actual industry, the same thing applies. Can you become the top 1% in your industry? And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, if you can have a skill set that is much better than your peers, right? Where there's a limited number of people that can do the same duties at the same ability and level that you can do them in, you're also going to be able to demand more for your time, demand more for your work. So in software engineering, if you're an entry-level developer, yes, you may only make 180,000, but when you become a senior software engineer at Google, you're going to make $350,000 a year. And if you can be an expert in machine learning or architect, you can make 800,000 or more, right? So it really depends on your own ability once you get into these sectors. But the first thing to do is be deliberate about the sector, and then you want to skill up and level up within these sectors and become an expert in that domain and go even further. So how do you do that? You do that by continually learning. You never want to rely on just the school you're going to teach you everything. You don't want to ever rely on just the job that you're currently in to teach you everything. That training that you get in school, that training that you get in work is training you at your current level. They're keeping up with the rest of your classmates. They're providing curriculum that's useful and beneficial and workable for everyone to follow along and go along with in the herd. What you want to do is you want to learn beyond that. You want to understand the concepts. You want to understand, the fundamentals of what's going on and the future technology that is not being readily learned by others. And you want to build things and master them so that you can apply them and create value for whatever business you're working for. So you really need to take extra time out of your day and study and learn and build and tinker and let your curiosity guide you towards a skill set that is more or less unrivaled by your peers. And if you can do that, then you're going to really be in high demand, and also that supply is going to be extremely limited, and that's where you can demand a great income. If I had to say that I had one superpower, that would be my ability to learn and digest new information and also apply it to my strong fundamental understanding of computer science. In my career, there have been many, many times where I've entered into a project or started a company where I had no idea how to, as a computer scientist, build the product that we needed to build at that time. I always pushed myself and learned and picked up the skills I needed to accomplish whatever project that was thrown at me. So the first example of this, when I was in high school, I went and I did advertising for a company. I helped them make posters and banners and magazine advertisements, print advertisements. I did that using Photoshop. No one ever taught me how to use Photoshop. I just downloaded the application, went online, looked at a couple tutorials, played around with it enough, and made some cool graphics. And one of these big companies saw my work and asked if I could do work for them on the side. And so I did. And that's how I first got into graphic design. Next ask of me was, can I help them with their website? And I said, sure. And at that time, I had never really built a website before. So I went online and I looked up, how to make modifications to a website. How do I code an ActionScript for Flash websites? And I went and I redid their entire Flash website. I did that not by going to a class. I just went online, learned whatever I had to learn, tried it, figured it out, and was able to deliver them a website. And from there, I built many other websites. And in college, I started a startup, and that startup was around mobile gaming. Up until that point, I had never built a mobile game before. I never even built a mobile application before. And I didn't have the skill set at the time, but again, I went online, I learned, and I was able to build, at the end of that startup, almost 10 games, some of them with millions of users on Android and iOS, and we developed even our own internal technology, which I led, that allowed us to build games much faster than our competitors. So we were a pretty small team, 3 to 5 people at any given point in time. And we were building products that were at the same quality level and at a faster speed than our competitors that maybe had 30, 40, 50 engineers and developers. And that was just from, my ability to learn, pick up information, apply it, and try things out. So you should never be discouraged that you don't have all the answers right away. You need to go and spend the time and learn and pick up new skills. And from there, you can keep growing yourself and becoming an expert in your field and demanding more for your work. The ability to learn, the ability to try and figure things out and stick with it until you master it is really my superpower, I would say. If you want to replicate that, what I would say is you need to do things that don't scale. If you want to learn about something, the best way to do it is to do it yourself. Don't sit around wondering, how can I become a better programmer? How can I, build a mobile game? Actually go out there, take action, look up some tutorials, build a small application, keep pushing yourself, and eventually you're going to get there. But you have to do things that don't scale. If you want to be a boss, if you want to be an expert, if you want to run your own company, you have to do things and understand things at a deeper level than anyone else. So you have to go to the extra effort, roll up your sleeves, do things by yourself with your own hands, and from there, develop a mastery of whatever subject matter you're interested in, and then go on. I think what also helps is having an obsession and a value system that you can always do better and that you're striving to do better. If you really want to be the best at something, yes, you need to start. You need to learn and pick up the skills that you need to do whatever you're trying to achieve. But you also have to have an internal gauge that says, I can do better. I want to do better. What I've done before is not good enough. And you need to keep pushing yourself and leveling up. Because if you're okay with your work, that's where you're going to stop. If you want to continually improve because you're not happy with the results, that's really going to lead you to push further and harder. And that's really going to give you the energy that you need to become an expert at something. That's not necessarily something that can be, I would say, trained though. This is really, I think, a personality trait. Are you someone that is willing to settle for, what you get? Or are you someone that's always going to strive to improve yourself, improve the things around you, improve the products and your skills? If you're someone that is willing to do that, to strive and to struggle and to try and improve and push yourself, if you can learn, if you can be bold enough to try things that you've never done before, that's going to take you really far. And the last thing that I would say here is you need to be able to simplify as well. In my career, I've done mobile gaming. I've worked for big media companies. I've built all kinds of applications and programs for all types of different industries. The reason that I can pick up all of these skills is because in my mind, I simplify all of these, very different concepts into a few things that I can manage well. In my mind, I have shortcuts and frameworks that I've built through my experience that allow me to take in new information and very quickly make a decision on the way things should be done and the best way to combine all this information that I've taken in and build something great. It's really inevitable that as you grow and progress in your career, the amount of responsibilities you have are going to grow exponentially. The people that you're managing, the types of projects that you're working on, they're always going to get more and more complex. So you need to be able to prioritize and simplify what it is you're doing and what your goals are on a daily basis, and let that lead you towards success over weeks, months, and years. So while you're going through this journey of becoming a master at something, make sure you're always taking time to synthesize all the information you're learning, simplify it into some simple and manageable rules and principles that you can use and apply to build a foundation so you can keep growing. Where do you go from here? Well, this is the best part. As you're earning income, it's almost never linear. So you're not going to earn income necessarily in this way, where you're going to spend more time and you're going to earn more money, and that's going to be the same all the way through. It's really not the case. What it is it looks more like an exponential curve, right? There's plenty of people that can do what you can do at the beginning. As you invest more time and you build your expertise, you're going to earn more money, and towards the end, when you're truly an expert in something, you're going to earn a lot more money for taking incrementally less steps. It was probably harder for you to go and pick your career than to land a big contract and make $1 million. So now that you're an expert as an individual contributor, how do you really add rocket fuel? How do you really grow and make a lot of money? The way you do that is, now that you're an expert, you bring on other people, you train them, build up your own team. And through your team of people that you've trained, you have now leverage from your time. So all the way up to this point, I was not talking about leverage. I was not talking about working smarter. I was talking about becoming an expert. I believe that that's really foundational for this to work. That is that if you really want to become an expert at something, you can't fake it. You have to do the learning yourself. You have to build that experience yourself. But once you are an expert, it's much easier for you to train people up to your skill level. And of course, and also work across expertise and work with other experts in their field, because they're going to recognize your reputation. And from there, build an amazing team and business where you can take back your time, do more things, provide more value to society, and really make crazy income. All the things are possible once you become an expert and you've learned how to scale your business through training and managing others. And that's all there is to building a great income. First, you want to be deliberate about what industry or field you want to get into. You want to do that based on objective data, being clear about what you want to go for, and then taking necessary steps to land that job. Secondly, once you have that job, once you're in that industry, you want to become an expert in that industry itself. You do that through constant self-improvement, through learning more than just what's in front of you, but taking the extra effort to improve every day and become an expert in that field and expertise. And then third, once you've done that, you want to scale up by leveraging your time, training others, and having them do the work that doesn't need to be done by you, guiding them and leading them and building a business. So those are the 3 ways to build your income. It's worked for me. I hope it works for you. If you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comment section. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate your support. And I will hopefully try to provide more value information to you all in the future. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.